Hey, this is Alexi Lawless. There is nobody in U.S. soccer that is more important
Yeah,
than the
baby, we're back!
We are very, very excited. We got a full house.
We got a full house.
We
We
usually-
usually 5 of us, just like cards. Okay. 2 of a kind, 3 of a kind. It worked out really well,
I
actually.
apologize on his behalf.
Yo, shouts to me for knowing cards.
I thought you meant Cars the movie. I was like, trying to
Cars
figure it out.
the movie.
I thought you were referring to the TV show. That's the word I said full house. Anyway.
Oh.
Okay, but there's a lot of bad jokes.
You know what, though? It works in many ways. That's probably why they named the show that.
Welcome to the show. Alexa, do you want to introduce our guests?
I mean, if you're driving, pull over right now and put your hands together for the one, the only. We got Instagram superstars in here, but it's not just some regular ass superstars. They actually got skill. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the only SoccerGrlProbs is here.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. So it's Alana, Shannon, and Carly, and so I know we met at in Miami, right? Were you there?
I was there the first day.
Okay. So I don't know if we met. We definitely met.
We played
Alana.
against each other.
Okay.
I don't know if we-
All right. So we were hanging out. We finally got to meet you guys, and it was just like I always knew.
And we
you
were like, oh, we don't hate them. You know, like at first. Like at first, we're like, you know. At first, we were like, oh, look who's here. You know? Let me guess, trick shot. You know? But then
Absolutely
you guys are super
not.
cool.
No. And then you're like,
I
no,
know,
they're
yeah.
not. Definitely not.
And then you 2-footed celebration. And I was like, yo, I like these girls.
So when we met, and we followed you guys on Instagram. And that's why I had heard about. Like for us, especially being comedians, and we've been doing this show for a little over 3 years. So we're like sort of like learning the soccer space, like who's who in the soccer world. And then we were like, yo, these girls are doing something unique as far as something comedic and something silly and not taking soccer too seriously. Yes. And I mean, you've seen this show, and that's exactly that. So we feel
Well, real
like,
quick for our fans, why don't you guys say your names into the mic so they'll know whose voice is whose?
Okay, go for it.
Oh, I'm Alana.
I feel like we're similar though.
Yeah.
Shannon.
Carly.
No, you guys have different octaves.
Do we? All right.
Who's lower? Who's lower?
I think yours is a little deeper.
Oh, yes.
Also, we met.
I was an alto. I was an
Yeah,
alto.
were you? I don't even know what that means.
I was deep in the alto in the choir.
Yeah,
So like
oh,
all the girls
choir?
in the sopranos.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We'll talk about that later.
You know, when I saw the
They
show
also put the
Sopranos,
tall girls back there.
Yeah.
when I saw the show Sopranos, I had no idea it was a singing thing. I was like, what a cool name. I had no idea. I know someone's like, that's a choir thing. I'm like, yo, they got a gun for R in the choir. They're like, Alexis, you're not going to make it very far in life. But we met under weird circumstances. We were talking into microphones, and you ran up to me, and you were like, do you know a lot about pizza? And I'm like, who is this girl?
No, Carly didn't even know the story. So I was sitting next to you, and we were talking about The Stand, the comedy place.
Yeah, the comedy club.
And then I brought up a comedian, and I was talking about, I listened to his podcast, and you're like, I was on that podcast. I was doing the pizza tour, and then I fangirled because I listened to that podcast 5 times, and then I did the pizza tour. Me and my brother did every place you did on it.
That's hilarious.
It was
Amazing.
so weird.
And then you
So I was-
FaceTimed with your brother and like, look who this is. And he's like,
It's my brother.
that's not a professional soccer player. Like, is he retired? Yeah, that guy gave up a while ago.
So yeah, we heard then I recognized your voice.
Okay,
But,
yeah, because I remember it was like this weird circumstance. I was like,
And
yeah,
that was
you
Ari
understand.
Shafir's podcast.
Ari Shafir,
who I
yeah,
saw
Skeptic
yesterday
Tank.
in the street, and I was going to tell him that I was doing your podcast today.
Oh, nice.
Look at this.
I was with
She
him this
kept it
weekend
on
at
the
a wedding.
DL.
This time I didn't freak out.
Did he have a better cast? Because at the wedding
No,
this
he
weekend, he was
didn't.
like bandaged up. It was real weird. It looked like he did it himself in an alleyway. I was like, dude, you got money. Come
He
on.
looked like he was coming from an alleyway.
That's him. That's just his aesthetic, you know? Shouts to Ari Shafir.
And thank you. You guys brought us pizza.
Yes.
When, I mean, that is
First guest to bring us
Yes.
food. It's about damn time.
We love
not
We're start the
not the
trend.
first guest to bring us food. We had Eddie.
Oh, Eddie, but he interrupted the show. He wasn't a guest on the
He
show.
wasn't a guest
No,
on the
no,
show.
no.
He brought empanadas.
He was.
That's
okay.
Feel free to interrupt the show with food whenever you want.
We are all here
Literally
for
break
that.
the door down. Like,
Yeah.
we got food for you.
Tim's cool. As long as we share with him, he'll let you in.
So you guys, how long? Let people know about SoccerGrlProbs and how it came to be. And I sort of know a little bit, but you guys can kind of express
Bring it
that.
home, Carl.
They always look at me to tell the story.
Yeah.
So we went to Fairfield University, and that's where we played soccer. And it was 2011. It was literally, 7 years ago, which is so crazy.
8 years ago.
This was when Twitter was first getting big, too.
Matt,
Okay.
not a strong
So-
point here. You're like, that's like 7, maybe 15 years ago. Yeah.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Irrelevant facts.
I got a lot of concussions
Yeah.
in school.
A lot of headers.
Actually, no. I didn't get any concussions. This girl got 7 concussions.
I've had a bunch.
Broken
Got a
back.
handful. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
we could do a
We're,
whole
yeah,
discussion on injuries.
we're gonna get to that because you guys have a long injury
lot of
history.
soccer girl props.
Yes.
So that's actually where it all started during preseason, where we were just kind of complaining with our team in the lunchroom, like, oh, we have ice bags on our legs, like tan lines, all this crazy stuff. And so we started tweeting. And all of our,
that's when we said hashtag, right?
yeah, we started tweeting and doing hashtag #SoccerGrlProbs. And our teammates were laughing at it, and everyone was like laughing at each other. So we were like, why don't we just make one handle so that we can all tweet on it and everyone can relate to it? So we made the handle, and before we knew it, it kind of spread like wildfire in the soccer community. Our teammates told their past teammates, and it kind of, like we told our families, and we had hundreds of followers in I don't know how many weeks, and then it started tripling, and before we knew it, we had 100,000 followers or whatever.
We kept being like, all right, well, if we hit 1,000 followers, we're gonna like go streaking down the library hill at our campus, like, cause like whoever hits 1,000 followers on Twitter, and we hit them, we're like, damn, we're like 10,000.
We kept like done it.
We got to streak 10 times. It seems like a lot.
We're like, all right, fine, we get like 7 million.
Move up to the numbers progressively.
Yeah. So we grew such a incredible community of soccer players, and it was kind of crazy because everyone was relating to one another, and it was something that was drawing a certain type of person to follow us. And people were like, why don't you guys make a video? So at the time, YouTube was also getting big with like shit boyfriend say, shit girlfriend say.
Yeah.
So we were like, why don't we do shit soccer girls say? And so we took an iPad and ran around our campus with our teammates and made
Whoa,
videos.
you had an iPad in 2011?
Yeah.
It was wild.
You had an iPad 25 years ago.
So we literally made the video and we put it out and we hit 1 million hits in less than 24 hours.
Incredible.
It was unbelievable. It blew up. Our Twitter account blew up from that, and then
All our friends we haven't talked to since middle school.
coming, yeah.
You know, wanted to hang out again.
A lot of the yo, you up.
Yeah.
You get a lot of those texts.
I've been up for 10 years.
Yeah, no. Damn, Ma, I ain't seen you in a minute. You look good in that video, though.
Seriously, literally everyone and their mothers were calling us.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
like, we know you. Like, what did you do? How did you do this? So it was funny. It just went viral, and so people started saying, we kept listening to our fans. They were like, why don't you guys make t-shirts? So we were like, okay, like let's make t-shirts.
Whatever you guys want.
You write the business model.
Literally.
You tell us.
100%.
So Alana, I think you should take over from here. 'Cause
All right,
you were-
so like we fly by the seat of our pants, especially the beginning of this, because now we're 3 athletes that are like trying to kind of figure out a side business at the same time. So NCAA rules were like keeping us from doing that. We had our names private, the team we played for private, like no one could know. We didn't want our coaches to know. It was wild. But then when I graduated, I was like, all right, I'm not bound by the death rules of NCAA. I was like, so let's try to sell a t-shirt now that I'm not playing. So we were like, all right, yeah, well, I made this like shoddy website. I actually got a woman to help me out, and we made like
Wasn't it GoDaddy?
the sketch. It was just the sketchiest website
I
ever.
would never
I'm really.
I don't know.
I'm like so into this part of the story, like shoddy website.
I would never put my credit card into it. But so I was like, all right, well, or
All the
like
credit card information is like requested, like in Chinese, Mandarin. I'm like, ooh.
so I'm like, all right, we'll get like 100 shirts made, and like I'm like, guys, we're gonna make it live tonight. We make the website live. It like crashes. It sells out within a very, very short amount of time, like minutes wise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy moly! I'm like, all these people now. They like, ordered. We didn't stop the website when we ran out of shirts. So it like people ordered way more shirts than we had. I was like, holy shit! I was like, all right. So we had to rush order all these T-shirts.
I just picture like
was-
your mom like spraying
Oh, listen,
like over us.
I enslaved like
Make more
every.
shirts, Mom.
Sharpies.
Yeah. Soccer girl props. Send.
I literally enslaved every member of my family and anyone on like a 5-mile radius of me to help like fold T-shirts and send them out. And it was just crazy. That's when we realized that there really was some sort of like connection that we had with who was following us. The fact that they would feel invested enough to want to like wear a shirt that said I can't have soccer on it or something like that.
Yeah, I think that like that feeling of creating something that like resonate as comics. It's like when we write a joke that just hits and everything. I love it. Like it's just a great feeling. But this tapping into this feeling of like acknowledging female soccer players in a different way, in a way that's not just like, hey, it's a girl playing soccer, you know, and it's not just some rare thing. It's just like, oh, this is what we all share, and
it feels
that
like,
feeling must have been just incredible.
It feels like as a female athlete sometimes, especially in soccer, you get like 4 options, right? You could be the, oh my God, she's incredible. She's almost as good as a guy. And then you've got the, wow, who let them do that? Or they're like, well, she's hot. Let her play soccer so we could watch her. And then there's, you know, like you don't get the option of being like, yo, we have our own minds sometimes. Like we're funny as hell. We could be silly. It's like you guys have broken a mold that was already broken and most people didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yes,
you guys are like, you guys have opened the door for other people to see like this community that didn't exist or that existed that no one knew. Like when we were like, does anybody even care about soccer and comedy together? Or we're gonna talk about American soccer because not enough people are doing that. The undercurrent to that is whenever we bring up something that's NWSL or a women's national team player, we get this onslaught of like people that have sort of attracted itself to it or that have sent us messages because you guys are doing that where you're shining a light on the female soccer player, which apparently not enough people are doing because when we do it, we get all these positive messages. We're like, whoa.
Yeah, like
it's an untapped market and it's such a big market.
Yeah, it really is.
Insane. Yep.
The best part, though, is that we were just being ourselves the entire time.
Yeah.
Like and like you said before, like we didn't have the business model because we literally didn't know we had a business until it happened.
Like we don't curse now in it. Like we'll bleep it because we have a lot of young fans. But in the beginning, we were just dropping F-bombs. Like left our first video.
Yeah.
I was in my underwear putting jeans on. And my like priest professor saw it. It was so awkward. He
like,
played
"Great
in front of the
job,
class.
Jim."
I was like, oh my God. It's the most embarrassing moment of my life.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
deep down inside, you were like, them
No.
legs is hitting though, right, boys? I'm doing squats. Can y'all notice?
Can everybody tell?
Yeah. I mean, it's all right, though, right? You a priest, you can't. But the rest of y'all.
Yeah, we were super real in the beginning on Twitter. Like we also were anonymous. No one knew, not even the school knew.
Yeah.
We were doing this until they finally caught on. And I think now we know that like we want to be good role models to these girls. We have such a huge following. We want to use our platform for a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
To help people understand they're not alone in their problems.
Us too, right? We want to.
We're inspiring young girls everywhere. And we really want to use
be
it.
gully, be extra gully,
Extra
okay?
gully.
But what I do enjoy is that you guys always kind of try to find humorous things to share, and it's like as comics, that's like literally the foundation of what we're doing. So like for you, what are the things that that necessarily, or even like sort of stand out from a female soccer player perspective that you're like, oh, I want to share this, or I want to like. I know it's a fairly broad question, but what's the work in like trying to find things that are humorous or creating like humorous content? Like, what is the challenge for you guys?
I don't think it is a challenge.
I was gonna say it's like literally just a means of survival, and that's just when we were in preseason. It was like. It's hell. Like, it's 3 times a day. You do nothing but sleep and play soccer and then eat in between and then sleep some more.
Yeah.
So you got to stay sane somewhere. And the way that we found ourselves to stay sane to get through it was to literally just laugh at the shit that was happening to us. Because, like, they were just, like, I'm trying to, like, I fell asleep with ice bags on my leg one time, and I woke up, and I had them on for so long, I slept the whole night through them, that the skin on my leg turned black. I had to go to my trainer, pull my pants down. I was like, did I give myself frostbite? I was like, I literally, like, my skin was black.
Like, ma'am, this is a Chick-fil-A. I am not your trainer. Put your pants back on.
But, like, stuff like that, you have to stop for a second and be like, no one else would understand this or laugh about it unless you were in the same shoes as us and playing soccer as a female athlete. So it's just
it's interesting because we were talking
struggle.
to Ali Krieger, who's our absolute hero.
Yeah, she's
The funniest person we've ever had on this podcast, bar none.
She's incredible. And she had mentioned that a big struggle for professional female soccer players in, like, I had asked her a similar question, I'm like, oh, what's sort of humorous in the women's soccer world? And she said that women players sometimes feel pressure to not sort of express themselves in that way because they don't want to hurt their opportunity for either sponsorships or make the team look bad.
Which is also a big part of how you make money as an NWSL player.
Yeah.
You're either
And
one of the
they're
big ones,
Look at
or
Cindy LaRue.
Yeah.
She is humorous, and she has all these amazing brands like partnering with her because of it.
yeah.
It's really crazy.
So, but there must be. Is she an outlier, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Totally.
But she's made herself an outlier.
Yeah. I think maybe the women, because they're literally on a world stage, like they probably feel pressure to look a certain way and be in a certain way. And that goes for literally women in general, I feel like. You know, like everyone feels pressure, but it's the people that I guess.
Yeah, like Sydney plays to her strengths. She's hilarious and like it works for her.
Yeah.
I think it just
She also claps back for Dom.
Yeah,
oh my God.
great. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
It's the best.
I think though that's the realness is so amazing and it's so key because that's literally why I think we went viral and we still do so well is because we're just being relatable. People sometimes are too uptight about, you know, the way they look or what they sound like. Like, you need to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah. It's interesting, especially just hearing your injury histories, right? You all sort of dealt with that stuff. And then I think about it from the perspective of, as a male college athlete, right? And the risk of injury, right? And we always talk about, like, you know, you were trying to have this business, right? Or you've landed on this business and while you were in school and you couldn't really promote it, right? But then the struggle of, like, you are offering the school, like, your services, you're playing, and then you have this opportunity to make money, but you can't. And then I think that from a male perspective, and that's mostly what's in the news, but from a female perspective, how the risk of injury and then after college, like, it's incredible. Like, the risk is insane, and just even more to, like, not be able to pay players. So it's just like male athletes have to deal with it, right? Where they have this potential to make all this money, and the female players also have to deal with it. And they, if they have the potential to make all this money or make even a, it's just like it makes a little bit, and it's just I'm hearing it makes me upset at college sports.
There's a comic we were working with once, and we did a commercial for the ICS, right? What are the ICC? The whatever the championship where like 6 Juventus players show up, but a lot more jerseys. We were talking to her, and she was like doing all these keepy uppies and stuff. I'm like, damn, you're really good at soccer. And she's like, yeah, I played professionally. I was like, oh, dope. Where? And she's like, in Mexico. I'm like, why'd you stop? She's like, I got paid $50 a week and lived with a family I didn't know. And I was like, what?
Like that for a lot of them.
Really
I'm like, that's not that's legal, you know? And we were shocked because I was like, why would you become a comic? Comics don't make any money. And she's like, it's the same thing. She's like, at least now I don't have to enter, train. You know?
And so if SoccerGrlProbs didn't happen, what would you guys be doing? Would you have been pushing to try to play professionally or what?
More shoddy websites.
We actually do joke that we want to go to like an open tryout.
We
and like
should
go
just
try
do
out now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Why not?
And have someone and make like
put GoPros on us, like doing all the fitness tests, and I was just so far behind. I mean, back like when we graduated, we probably could have like hung with them, but those days are over now.
I think we definitely could have. But
I mean, what would you guys have? Well, you were gonna go to med school, right?
Yeah, I know. I was gonna go to med school. That was my.
Okay.
she was a biology
Not
major.
even
So
talk
you've
about
explained to your family, I'm not going to med school. I've got this T-shirt.
I made a YouTube video.
No. We're going to get like 8 iPads. We're going pro.
We're gonna save a lot of money on schooling. Yeah. No, but I mean, we're all like, all of us have a passion to be in the athletic world. So we all like the side hustle. We all side hustle. Like, I'm strength and conditioning coach. She trains. She does health and coaching and all that stuff. So we're really involved in all aspects of the game. Even if we're not in the soccer world, we'll never be able to leave it fully. So.
Oh, sure. Okay.
What are some of the things that have not hit? Some of the things that you wish you could have done, or something that you put out and the fans were like, we don't want to see this from you? Because that happens to us as comics all the time. Like, we'll make a joke and someone's like, we don't see you that way. And you're like, well, I mean, perception is reality.
I mean, Alexis makes a joke on our Twitter account, and I'm like, yo, dude, that's not us.
Oh, yeah, no.
You're not speaking for both
the
of
fans
us.
saying, we don't like to hear you. It's Christian going, don't do that.
That is a good question.
Like we'll find some things just absolutely hilarious that definitely other people don't find. Like, we dress up as referees in our videos. And we'll go on tangents when we film because we never have a script, so we're always freeballing whatever we're gonna say, and we will like crack ourselves up. Like, we have to put this out. It's gonna be so funny. We'll watch it 1,000 times and laugh our asses off about it. And somebs maybe people just don't find it as funny as we did.
Part of the video that we think is the funniest.
Yes,
and no one cares about.
That's not what hits. Yeah.
So that does happen.
I have a joke where the punchline, I'm like, it's gonna crush. I worked on it. I set it up, like I did it 2 or 3 times and it works.
Like,
and I get there and somebody laughs at the end of the setup, and I'm like, well, that's not the goddamn punchline. And then I wait for the laughter and I land the punchline. I'm like, and no one laughs. I'm like, well, what's wrong with all of you?
You can't practice in front of your mom.
Yeah, I know, right? It's real sad.
can't.
No, my mother still tells people I'm looking for work. 10 years as a comic, baby. Never seen me once perform. All right. Somebody hit a button. Somebody hit a hot button. It's all good. Oh, you guys have supportive parents? How cool.
I did want to ask you guys about a story that came out recently. There was a girl, Olivia Moultrie, or Moultrie. I don't know exactly how to say her name, but she's in that
Olivia Moneybags.
Moneybags.
There you go.
Yeah, she don't care about the NCAA rules right now.
So she is 13 years old. She had agreed to a scholarship for UNC. But she is now in that new Serena Nike ad, right?
Yes.
So clearly she is not trying to playing school anymore. But 13 years old, signed a pro deal. She has a deal with a sports agency and has a deal with Nike. So obviously she's getting paid.
A 6-figure deal with Nike.
So a 13-year-old girl. So this is kind of unprecedented. We're not used to seeing something like this. A lot of people were kind of surprised by this, and also had a lot of opinions about. And we all might have different individually have different opinions about this, but comments were like about how her body hasn't developed and she's gonna change. Like, why make that commitment? But apparently she is that good already, and I guess enough of a personality that they feel like there is a future. What do you think of this girl and this story?
I mean, at 13 years old, I was still like, Mom, I forgot my lunch in the backseat of your car. So, like, the fact that she has it together this much to be taken that seriously and be this progressed in her career at the age of 13 is props to her. That's absolutely incredible. It makes me a little nervous.
But why?
Because so much, she's 13, so right, she's 13. When at her peak of her career is probably going to be 18 and older, right?
Yeah.
And when you're really fully developed and at your best athletic potential. So that's at 5-year gap. That's so much stuff could happen.
Sure.
Life stuff, passion change. Acne.
Oh.
You never know. Like,
Keep happening. Notice the hat. No, I just think that, I mean, they're setting her up for success, though. Like, she has 5 years to just, like, go all out and make this her career. So
but
I
also,
don't know.
like, if I
too.
was playing against a 13-year-old and I was like 20, I'd want to slam that girl so hard. It's not even funny.
You slam a
Realistically.
13-year-old?
Yeah,
I
hell
wouldn't even
yeah.
touch that 13-year-old.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? I would. Yeah, I'm with you.
Lower that
I'd take
shoulder
that.
down.
Yeah.
No,
Knock it down.
she's got a
Lily.
soccer dad on the sideline.
Oh, of course.
Scream.
Who's probably your age? You know, 'cause she's only 13.
I'm her
Taking that girl out.
grandmother's
Taking that girl out.
That's another thing, though. Injury. If you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just
Yeah,
don't know what's gonna happen. People can come back from an ACL injury and be not the player they were. So it just scares me too.
Yeah.
I totally see both sides.
I mean,
And she's a
props. How
soccer-
could you say no?
Yeah,
Like, totally get it.
And she's
but-
a
not gonna take this
SoccerGrlProbs
money.
fan, so we love her. Hey, Olivia.
Okay.
Hey, if you're listening, Olivia, what's
Yeah.
up?
Now she's a Cooligans fan.
Yeah, bring us pizza, Olivia. What you doing? You got money.
Yeah. But she's literally changing the game. There's something to be said about a 13-year-old being signed. First of all, 11-year-old being signed to UNC.
Yeah.
And getting a scholarship.
That is
That
wild.
is just absurd. But I mean, she's changing the history of women's soccer.
It's great because nobody really bats an eye when Alphonso Davies at 16 getting his first start and stuff like that. So it's like it's not. It's like, well, if we look, your shirt says equality. If we want equality, like this is. I think the double standard is clearly it's like because she's a girl and because girls develop differently and things like that.
And I was gonna say also because it's like the U.S., you always hear about like boys getting signed overseas, like when they're like 11, 12, 13, and I just think that that's how it works there differently than here because there's so many different levels of the U21 national team, the this, the that. There's so many little distinctions, so it's crazy to me to sign them so young. But we hear it. You're right. We hear it with men all the time.
But people go like, "Oh, what about college, bro? What do you go to college for? To make money and become a professional?" She did at 13. She's Doogie Howser. She's good.
But
and then let's what? If she fails in 5 years, she could go to college. That's the age
She
at
could
which
write
you
a
go to
book.
college.
She'll
Yeah,
be good.
yeah.
Good to go. She
But
got
you're
a book.
totally-
She already has
right.
enough money
Yeah,
to just
but-
live for the
But
rest of
maybe
her
there's
Yeah.
like that's something to like think about. Like even you said you were like, oh, you had concerns, right? You were just like worried, and maybe there is the way we treat young girls.
Yeah, because you know
with
what?
this-
I wouldn't have that same concern with hearing a 12-year-old boy sign or a 14-year-old boy.
there's like we all sort of have this like maternal and paternal instinct with young girls. We're just like we don't want them to get hurt. But if my daughter can make 6 figures from Nike, I'm like, hey, you know what? You're gonna risk some limbs out there for the family.
Yeah. As I'm Googling mink coats. Go ahead, girl.
That would be your go-to,
Yeah.
a mink coat.
Oh, a pink mink coat. Your boy's going Cameron. I'm gonna pull up in a pink Range Rover.
Mommy and Daddy are proud, baby.
Hurry up. Yeah, like, how good is the contract they're offering? Like, should we get a sunroof? Is what I'm asking.
But how does that work? Can she access the money?
No.
Is it in
No,
a
probably
trust?
not.
No, it's probably in a trust till she's
Yeah.
18. But
If she was my kid, that trust would be very loose.
It's a joint trust.
Very loosely defined. I can't believe you only made 100,000. It's supposed to be $3 million. I know what we're talking about. So I'm gonna go to my yacht real quick.
but if she is the LeBron, let's say, of women's
The fear
soccer,
is that she's the Freddie Adu. It's too young.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. But you
we
won't
can-
know that until it happens.
yeah,
Yeah,
but we
no.
can't. Can we operate on fear, guys?
No.
Is that how
you're
we're gonna
right.
live our
You're very
lives?
Then you know what? Then the toxic masculine terrorists have won. If we have fear.
But if she's the potential, if that's the potential of like she could be the LeBron of women's soccer, what does
why
that
not?
look like for women's soccer? I mean, like we have soccer stars. We have the Alex Morgans who are not only great at the sport, but are also they also in magazines and in some they're selling sort of their looks as well. We can obviously that's not gonna happen with a damn 13-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So, but like if we're basing it
Well,
on
you know Hollywood, okay?
Someone will
Let's
figure
hope
it out.
She's in that Nike commercial.
Yeah.
So.
Let's hope not.
But what would that sort of mean or look like if she can be developed like the way LeBron was and sort of tailored to be this absolute megastar? What can that do for women's soccer?
I think it's just opening up a different perspective because you don't see that often. You do
Yeah.
not see players followed for that long of a period of time or that much effort put into especially young female players at that age. So for some consistency and investment in a young player like that, would be awesome to see her actually like make it all the way up and be
And open the
successful.
door for other people.
Yeah.
To do
Yes,
it too.
absolutely.
It is kind of nice though. Like when we were younger, there's no way in hell we would ever make that amount of money playing soccer. And now you have this girl who's doing this, so I feel like it might actually empower other young female athletes.
Yeah,
And their parents.
And their parents. We're gonna have a lot of crazy soccer parents now.
Yeah.
But
Definitely. That's so true.
yeah, like they're gonna probably.
Like we don't
Crack it
already?
down.
I mean,
Yeah.
this-
Yeah, I was gonna
Hit
say.
that Olivia money.
Oh my God.
Practice till the sun goes down. Actually, we got floodlights. We good. Mom and Daddy going to bed.
I know some girl that had her dad film every single game in practice and make her watch it.
Yeah.
Like there are some crazy people out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never lost.
She's part of the big baller brand.
Big
now.
Sadly, no.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us on the show. This has been very, very enlightening, but also just super fun. You guys are great.
Yeah, and everyone I'm sure knows, but where could they find you? Where could they follow you? And if you want to plug your individual Instagrams and whatnot.
So you can follow us at SoccerGrlProbs. There's no I in girl, so it's just GRL. And we're on that for every single handle that we have. And then our YouTube channel is SoccerGrlProbs Vids.
Nice.
All right.
Is that
Yeah.
everything?
A lot of handles already taken,
Yeah.
clearly,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But please follow them. They do amazing work, and you guys have built legitimately an empire of problems that soccer girls have.
There's a
Well,
lot
you
of them.
figured it all out. That was really good of you.
Thank
Okay.
you so much for having
Yeah.
us. too.
Yeah,
It's
no,
been so fun.
absolutely.
You guys,
You
are
guys are awesome. We love how you're
Yeah.
bringing the humor to the game. Like
Yes.
that's what we're trying to
I
do.
was
So
gonna say, we have that in common.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
all right. Soccer boy probs.
Funny
already
boy
have.
probs.
Funny boy probs.
So
There's no I in boy.
So we usually wrap the show the same way. We yell Cooligans. It all makes sense.
know exactly when to do it.
So we'll just yell it to that camera.
Will we all say our names?
We'll say so I'll say it. For Alana, for Shannon, for Carly. My name is Christian Polanco,
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
and together, what are we?
the Cooligans!
You held that one out.
What's up? It's the world champion, Judah Friedlander, and you're watching the Cooligans. Why? Because you're cool. This is what winners look like right here, man.
I mean, you're looking at us.
Right now with my legs, I just juggled the ball 80,000 times.
You missed it.
Yeah.
He's been playing keepy uppy since I met him.
Yep, look faster, guys.
Go Team USA.